Hello, my name is Marvin Morganti, and I'm a member of the Pacifica Historical Society and your host for this edition of Footprints of Pacifica, a weekly program in which we bring to you the lure and the lore of Pacifica, and we introduce you to the characters and the character of the city. Today, my guest is Frank Nash, who has been a barber here in Pacifica for 57 years. We're going to meet Frank now. So Frank, are you ready to give me a haircut and tell me about your experiences in Pacifica?
I sure am, Mark.
Good. Well, let's start at the beginning. What brought you to Pacifica?
Well, in December of 1955, I was on a motorcycle mud run. Now, a mud run is one of those where you definitely get into the mud. So it's all over you and all over everybody else.
Wow.
And it's very interesting and kind of tough. But my bike had a problem, so I shut it down. And so we came up here to have breakfast because it was cold, wanted something warm to drink. So I had breakfast with the Taylors. They had a charcoal broiler then. And so I walked around the shopping center and I didn't see a barber shop. And I said, well, I'll bring my dad over. So I talked to my dad about it. So we came over in February of '56 and met the people that leased out the buildings. They showed us this building.
And you've been in this building ever since?
Well, when we started, at first we had to send a scout out to scout the area because there was a barber shop across the street and you don't infringe on people. So, but the area was growing and it said yes, it would hold 2 barber shops. So we opened the 1st of May in 1956.
And how old were you then?
I was 24.
Okay, and you opened with your father?
With my dad.
Who played quite a part in your life?
Yes,
your
yes.
early
We worked
life.
together for 20 years.
And you lived, you came from Martinez?
Martinez, yeah, we were living in
moved
Martinez.
over here.
Mm-hmm.
And your father did work with the movie industry?
Yes, back in the late 20s and early 30s.
Okay, when you moved over here, you got married, bought a house?
No.
No.
Actually, I got married, I moved here, got a divorce, remarried, then bought a house.
Okay.
In Dollimar.
How much did you pay for that house?
$9,000 in Dollimar.
So. And what else? What was Pacifica like?
Well, you would say it was probably a one-horse town.
Really?
But it was great.
You had no police, no fire, none.
Yeah, it's been we had a volunteer fire department, and then we had the sheriff's department was here.
Okay.
Some of the sheriffs, they were great guys.
It's ironic that we hear talk that we may again lose our fire.
I hear that.
and
I hear
police
that. There's a
departments.
possibility.
Can you recall some exciting thing? What about incorporation? Did you have a part in that?
No,
No.
I didn't.
You didn't become politically, were you for or against it?
Actually, I was for it. I was for incorporation. I figured, you can't stand still and you can't go back, so
But
you got to go forward. And it worked out for some things you don't like, but nothing you can really do about that.
Can you remember any names of people associated with the incorporation?
Oh, let's see. There was a lawyer from upstairs, Mr. Cohen, and it was a group of people. I never really got involved in politics.
You were too busy barbering.
True.
Well,
And I was young too.
and I hear over the years there have been some fires in Pacifica. Is that correct? Like the Wander Inn, did it burn down?
No, it was burnt down. They burned it on purpose. They used it as a practice for the fire department.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and before that it was a youth center.
I see.
Yeah. They were having problems with it, so they decided they just
And,
eliminate it.
And I remember once, didn't Santa Claus fall in the river?
Oh, the ocean?
In the ocean, rather.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So he forgot to judge the wind. He jumped out of an airplane, the parachute, and the wind took him out instead of he was supposed to land in Eureka Square.
Yeah, yeah.
But he was saved by surfers.
That was the big event.
Yeah, it was a wet Santa Claus.
What about some of the people you ran across during your years here? By the way, are you going to give me a haircut? Or
Absolutely.
Are you just going to talk?
Well, I guess I should go to work.
You better go to work. Well, you can talk and
You
go
got
to
any
work.
money?
I got money.
Oh, okay,
I got
then.
money. Yeah, okay.
That's important.
All right. I wanted to ask you, I understand you knew Sam Massa, the last owner of the castle.
Oh, Sam? Yeah, he was a customer of mine for many years. And actually, he was really a nice person. He's very friendly. He was always going to take me on a personal tour, but I was always busy, and then he'd be busy. But I did go to his home. I've been in his home.
But you
never saw the castle. No.
Well, next time the Historical
going to.
Society
Guarantee
has
you,
its
I'm going to go
tour,
back there.
you're going to be around your guests. We'll make sure that you get there.
Yeah.
I heard Sam made some fantastic monies. How much did he get paid to paint the Fox Theater?
I asked him, and he said I got paid $100,000.
Wow.
And that was in 1939.
Wow, that was...
And I said, well, that seemed like an enormous amount of money. He said, well, I actually brought all those painters from Europe, and it was hand done, you know. And of course, they had the gold leafing and all that in that.
Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous. Were you ever in the Fox?
Yeah.
Gorgeous
Big
place.
in the Fox.
Yes.
Beautiful
And,
theater.
yes. And he said he painted the Paramount Theater in Oakland.
Oakland.
He gave it his first paint job.
Really?
Yeah. So that was his business, doing
Yeah.
theater. And stuff.
Oh, he was
Very talented man.
Good.
Yeah.
And what about Reverend Harkins? I understand you know Reverend Harkins.
Oh, he was quite something in the community. That's one man everybody knew, and everybody liked him.
Did he come in here for a haircut?
Yes, he did. And he had a brother that was staying in the convalescent hospital down here. And he came in one day and he said, my brother's in the convalescent hospital, and I want to pay for his haircut. And I said, fine. So he paid in advance. And what it was is his brother was a forger.
Wow.
World-renowned forger.
Wow.
Yeah, spent most of his life in prison. And so he came up, and he looked just like Reverend Harkins, dressed fit to kill, you know. And after he got through with a haircut, he said, do you accept checks?
Really?
Yes. And I said, you're already covered, you know, Mr. Harkins. And,
Yeah.
he said, oh, yeah. I told him, your brother took care of that for you. And then I said, I'd love to have had one of his checks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a kind of a memento
Absolutely.
hang on the wall somewhere.
Yeah. You shop.
Oh, yeah.
As you know, the Historical Society has tours in the castle.
Yeah.
I played the ghost of Reverend Harkins.
I know you.
And I think it's sort of ironic. I'm sitting in a chair as the ghost of Reverend Harkins getting a haircut. If you get to it, by the way.
No,
getting
right?
a haircut. What about Grace McCarthy? Did you know
Well,
Grace?
you know, it was really funny. I went to the Historical Society dinner, and I was sitting at a table, and this lady next to me said something about moving from Wisconsin or someplace back to Pacifica. She said, we're going to stay in the old family home. I said, yeah, well, where is that? She said, on East Lake. I said, I live on East Lake. And I said, you don't happen to live down at the end of the street on the left, do you? She said, yes. I said, you must be Grace McCarthy's daughter. And she said, I am. I said, well, how's John doing? She said, well, he's around here somewhere. So he come over to the table, and she said, do you know who that is sitting next to you? I'm sitting next to me. He said, he looked. He said, no. He said, that's Frank Nash. So he gave me a big hug.
Well, you were
I used to cut his hair when he was a boy.
Did you?
Oh, yes, yes.
And you were neighbors living on the same street?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful, too, because I never had any potholes.
Yeah. Someone told me at one time in the early days of Pacifica, there was a duck pond
No. There was it was a duck farm where the senior center is.
Okay.
That was a duck farm. They raised ducks.
It wasn't a city pond or
No. It was actually a duck pond. Duck farm.
And I hear it smelled terrible.
Oh God. I don't know. If you've been around ducks, you know that it's a mess.
I wonder whatever happened to it. Because I moved
Well,
there.
the telephone company built the building.
Oh, it's where
They bought the property and built the building,
Yeah.
and then they had problems because you get moisture. So their equipment had problems, so then they abandoned that.
Yeah.
And then
And
they used it now for a senior center.
Yeah, which is a good facility.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice
Yeah.
facility.
Anything else you can recall about your early life here?
Oh, not too much. I met a lot of nice families.
And I think...
Oh, yeah. Well, we work in a business where we deal with families, We give people once in a while a little bit of a celebrity or something, but our biggest thing is the families. Okay. And I get to watch them grow up, and then they have their families.
All right, well, we're on to Barber. I did a little figuring. And if you cut 10 heads a day, 5 days a week, for 57 years, you've cut almost 3,000 heads of hair.
Well,
That's amazing.
Well, we used to work, and when I first had the shop, when we first got it really going, on a Saturday, and we cut 20 before lunch and 20 after lunch.
That many?
Oh, yes.
Wow. And how much did you charge for a haircut when you first started?
When I first started, it just went to $1.25. My father owned a shop in Marin County, and I was going to get rich.
Absolutely.
I graduated high school from Tamalpais in Mill Valley, and then went to barber school, and went to work for him. And I could see all those $1.25s coming in the door. I said, oh, man. And my father says, slow down, kid.
Hey, but you're not going to get paid today.
Huh?
You're not going to get paid today. You
I'm not?
haven't even started on my hair.
Yeah, well, it don't take me long once I get going.
Okay. I want to ask you something else. As a barber, over the years, like you say, you watch people grow up, but people have come into you. Do you act like a bartender does? Do you listen to them?
Well, yeah, I'd say more like a priest.
Like a priest?
Yeah, tell
that's
you a
good.
problem.
Okay.
How many divorces is it?
I've
I've gone through it myself.
What do you think the main topic has been over the years? Sports or politics?
Politics, I try to kind of stay away from. So if you're a Democrat, half the town's mad at you, and if you're a Republican, the other half's mad at you.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of watch what you're saying when it comes to...
I would think as the barber, you got to be sort of...
My father was the greatest. He could do 180 so fast.
I bet you heard all the town gossip.
He could become a Democrat, bingo. 5 minutes later, another guy come in, he'd be a Republican.
Well, you got to do that.
He was good at it.
Got to be a good barber. I suppose you heard all the gossip in town.
Well, that's not true. You know, they used to say that, but we don't know all the streets. We don't know all the girls. No.
I heard that there was a wife swapping scandal.
Well, there was a little bit of that went on, but I didn't get involved.
You didn't get involved. You're not going to reveal any of the people involved. Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. Well, back in those days, there was, I think they called them like key clubs. They used to get there and they'd throw the keys in the middle of the floor.
Oh,
everybody dive in to get a key.
Yeah, even in the
something to that effect. But like I say, I stayed away from it.
Okay. I forgot to mention, you have a bevy of motorcycles, Harleys. Tell me about them.
Well, I got 3 Harleys.
3 Harleys?
3 Norton. And, 1 Honda, 1 Kawasaki, a BMW.
You have a big
I've got so many I forget.
You have a big garage.
I have a big garage. I got 4 sitting in the back room here.
Oh, have you really?
Yeah. I used to have 9 back there one time. They got crowded.
So how extensive is your travels on a bike now?
Oh, I've traveled, go to Canada and Idaho, Montana. It's It's one of those kind of things that makes me feel good when I go riding.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Hey, Frank,
Yeah.
I see some interesting pictures on your walls here.
Oh, the stuff on the walls?
Can you tell me about some of them?
Well, they're really collector's items. Nice things that my wife won't let me put on the walls at home. So I brought them down here. There's an old picture of downtown Sharp Park.
Absolutely.
It's taken from up around the castle there. That picture was taken in 1912, and I was just a kid at the time.
And I see a picture of there.
Oh yeah, that's a picture of Leo Ryan and
with Jackie Spear.
yeah, Jackie, little Jackie, my father and myself, and my hair was a little bit darker then.
Was that about the time you opened the shop?
Oh no, this was in 1968. When that was, I guess it was killed not long after that. Some of the pictures there, the pictures of the cattle, or Scottish cattle. There's a lady, a friend of mine, and she was living in Scotland, so she took the pictures and sent them to me. The picture of John Wayne was hanging in a bank in Salinas, and my uncle banked there, and he was talking to the manager, and she had this picture behind her desk. And so my uncle told us that my dad had worked in the movies with John Wayne, 1929, 1930. So they redecorated the office, and she gave that to my uncle to give to my dad. So it's been hanging up here for many years.
That's great.
Yeah, well, he used to work. He used to do ads for that bank at one time.
Oh.
Wayne did. And I think it was a First Western or something like that.
I think it was,
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
And a collection of old razors we've collected and just stuff like that.
Oh, you
Some
have
of my old scabbards.
You have a very interesting shop.
Yeah.
But I see you have a surfboard.
Well,
don't think
I
you
wonder
surf,
where they came from.
But I think you have a.
I had one, but it had a
partner.
motor on it.
I think you have a
That would belong to
partner.
my partner in crime.
Your partner in crime surfs, I think.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's good. That makes a great addition to your shop.
Yeah, in the back I have a nice patch collection.
Yeah,
One of them in particular is the KGB.
Good.
From Russia. A friend of
Yeah.
mine brought it to me from Russia.
Very good.
Yeah, they're disbanded now. They don't have the uniform division anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, they were selling those in Red Square for coasters.
Were they?
Russians don't like them at all.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm going to finish this haircut, I better get it on it.
Yeah, you better get going.
Yeah. Have you got a date or something?
No, I don't have a date today. I just, my big
But
date.
I'll still try to make it.
My big date was coming in to talk to you and find out all these fascinating things about Pacifica.
Yes, I'm not Italian, but I still use my hands when I talk.
Do you really?
Yes.
Well, you also have to use them to get you that haircut.
Yeah, my family were predominantly Indians. I have 3 great-grandparents full-blood Indians.
Were they? Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah, my great-grandmother came from England. She was a school teacher. She lived in Florida. Married my great-grandfather. He was a Seminole Indian. Then they moved down to a little place called Killeen, Texas. Bought some property. And that's where my grandmother was born, and my great-uncle. My great-uncle was a barber in Austin, Texas. And that's where my dad and his brothers, they learned to do their barbering there.
I didn't get the connection of how you left Yuma, Arizona, and ended up in Martinez.
Well, it all started, actually, my mother came to visit. I was raised by a stepmother, not my mother. My mother came to visit us, and she took us, She took us to New Mexico and kept us back there for about a year. Well, we came back to Yuma, and like I say, my mother's family were predominantly Indian. My grandfather's half German and half Cherokee. My grandmother's half English and half Comanche on that side. That's my mother's side. And it got a little wild. And Christmas morning we woke up, no tree, no prayers, and no nothing, So my brother said, let's run off and go see our dad. I said, fine.
You always have been a renegade, haven't you?
So we were walking down the highway. It's a little town we were going to, it's about 10 miles or so from where we were at the time. We were up at Yuma, and we saw the sheriff's car coming. So we got up and right on the Colorado River and went down and hid in what they call the air weeds. So the sheriff walked up and he spotted us down there. He said, "Come on, boys." So, heck, he knew who we were, you know. He said, "Where you boys going?" I said, "We'll see our dad." And so he said, "I think I better just take you to see your dad." So he took us to my dad. Well, my dad went to see the judge, who was a friend of his, and said that, you know, she had legal custody of this kid, and he didn't want us to have to go back to New Mexico. So the judge said, "I'll tell you what," he said, "take those kids to California." He said, "Get out of the state."
Really?
And he said she'll never come after him. And she never did. So that's how we first started coming over here, you know.
Yeah.
And then my dad got into migratory work, you know, because there's no money in the barber trade in the 30s. So he packed lettuce and carrots and stuff like that. We'd be in Watsonville or Salinas.
And in the valley.
Yeah, then back down the valley to El Centro and Brawley.
Yeah.
So we did that until 1945 when I started high school in Watsonville.
In Watsonville.
Yeah, and he went back to barber school and got his California license, started barbering again. And then him and I wound up barbering together.
And then did you have to go to barber school?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's why I'm so smart. I went to school.
Oh, yeah. No, that's how you learn things. You go to school.
Yeah. If I had gone to school, I'd be finishing this haircut right now.
Yeah. Oh, you're not going to get paid.
Oh, well, we're almost done. Yeah. We're not going to mess around with you much more.
Okay. Frank, I think a major development in Pacifica was when the freeway came through.
Yeah.
Did it make a difference to you?
Absolutely. It cut our business in half.
It cut your business in half?
Yes. It used to be they came right by our street, but then they bypassed us, so.
That's right.
Yeah. And it was really strange, too. Before they finished it, we had a big rain, and the thing filled up with water. And the pumps didn't work. So we had a large swimming hole.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah, I told Nick Gus one time, I said, "Nick, have you ever heard the story about united you stand, divided you fall?" And yeah, I said, "You divided us, you guys."
Absolutely.
I said, "What did you just put a nice 4-lane highway through here with stoplights?"
I moved here in '61.
Was it here then?
I don't think so. I can remember a hot dog stand in Sharp Park called Tip Top, and they had 19-cent burgers.
That's right. Yeah, they had a burger place right over here too by the Chevrolet dealer. They had a place over there. And then they had Chubby's.
Chubby's.
Yeah, they were Chubby's.
Chubby's was here.
Yep.
My kids loved Chubby's. They grew up with Chubby.
Yeah, he was too, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. The name is apropos.
Yeah, Chubby was definitely chubby.
So the freeway did make a difference.
Yes, it made a difference in our business, but you know, that's just the way it goes, you know, progress. And, but we managed. I think the worst thing for us was the 60s, the hippies, everybody growing their hair out.
Really?
Oh, yes, yeah. It'd knock a hole in us.
Did it really?
Yeah, but I was kind of lucky. My father made me cut women's hair when I was a kid. And so I used to give all these young boys girls' haircuts. It worked. I survived. I'm one of the survivors.
You've always had a two-chair barber
No, it
shop.
started as a two and then went to 3.
You had 3 chairs.
Yeah, we had a 3-chair shop, a full-going 3-chair, 3 men making a living here.
Wow. And that lasted for quite a few years.
That lasted for a spell until they put the freeway in, then went down to just a 2-chair. And my father and I worked together, like I say, for a number of years. And Glenn started working for me when he was 18 and put himself through college.
Yeah.
And then he went off to do other things, but he kept barbering. He'd work here and he was teaching school.
And he taught school.
Yeah, he
with
taught
me.
school. Yeah, then he could come down here and take it out on the customers, after a day out of school.
Yeah.
Yeah, he worked part-time, and then he finally decided, my father had passed away, and he decided that he wanted to go back to be a barber full-time. So we're partners now.
Yeah, very good. Very-
We don't fight often.
And are you thinking about retirement at
Oh,
all?
my brother just retired. He's 84. He retired in January. So I don't want him to beat me out. So I got a little bit more time to go. And once I top him, then I'll think about it.
Okay.
And my hand's still pretty steady.
And-
And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can still stand.
And you still have time to get away on that bike.
Oh, on the bike. Oh,
if
yeah,
you want.
absolutely. That's what keeps me going, is the bikes.
I love that.
And so he asked his wife to give me a ride home. And she did, and as we were going home, I said, how do those old guys keep their arms up all day long? He was only 32.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at 18, that seemed like an old man.
Yeah. Oh, that's a cute story.
Frank, thank you for sharing with us the history of Pacifica through your eyes. And if you want to know more about the history of Pacifica, go to www.pacificahistory.org or call 359-5462. And we are reminded that we leave footprints in the sands of time as we move forward.